Here is question number 2 to prepare you for a test on linear relations where we will be dealing with the equation of the type ax plus by equals to c. Question number 2 is pencil costs 20 cents and pens cost 25 cents. Write an equation representing all the ways you could spend $6 on pencils and pens. So that is the question. Now, as we discussed in question 1, you'll find that pencils and pens both are dependent on one another, and we really don't have an independent variable and a dependent variable here, correct? In such situations, ax plus by equals to c is the form of linear equation which is a representation of the situation. So let's see how. So let's read the question once again. It says pencil costs $0.20, that means 20 cents, and pens cost $0.25. Write an equation representing all the ways you could spend $6 on pencils and pens. So let's say total amount is 6 for us and we need to buy pencils and pens. So let's first define our variables. So say let statement for defining variables. Let number of pencils be x, and then say let number of pens be y. So we got two variables. Now each pencil costs 20 cents and pen costs 25 cents. So if we have x pencils, they will cost us 20 cents times x. So our cost will be 0.20 times x. Similarly, y pens will cost 25 cents times y, or 0.25 y. And how much money do we have to spend? $6. So that should be equal to 6. So that is our equation, right? Now, write an equation representing all the ways you could spend 6 on pencils and pens. Now if we have this kind of equation, then in how many ways can we buy pencils and pens? That is the part of question. So what we can do is, we can write different values of x and find corresponding values of y and make a table. So what we will do here is that we can start making a table. We'll say, well, this is our table, and we will write all x amounts here. Let's say number of pencils, and we'll calculate number of pens and then figure out how to get the answer. So for example, if I write x as 0, so that means if we don't buy any pencils, then x means 0 pencils. Then how many pens can we buy for $6? That is what the question is, right? Now since we are doing a calculation to find the number of pens, let's rearrange this equation and find what is y in terms of x. Okay, so we'll rearrange. We can write from here. So let's rearrange on this side. We say 0.25y equals to 6 minus 0.20x, and y will be equal to 6 minus 0.2x divided by 0.25 to get the answer, right? So that becomes a good question. So that becomes the equation to calculate number of y's. Remember, y should be a whole number, since we cannot buy pencils or pens in numbers which are not whole numbers, correct? So that is what it is. Now we can use our calculator to do the calculation. So if x is 0, so we'll put 0 here. So we'll say y equals to 6 minus 0 times anything will be 0. So 6 minus 0 equals to, and then you divide by 0.25 to get your answer, which is 24. So we get the value of y as 24, right? So remember one thing, when you are using the calculator, either you first do the numerator, get the answer, then divide by this, or put a bracket. Put a bracket, do your calculation, and then divide. That way, you'll always get the right answer. So what I'm trying to say is, you're trying to calculate y. So we'll write y equals to, within brackets, 6 minus 0.2x, bracket close. Then you say divide by 0.25. Do this calculation with the calculator and get all different values of y. That is what I'm trying to say. So if we have x as, let us say 10, let's randomly take some values, right? Then what happens? Then we get y as, within brackets, 6 minus 0.2 times 10, bracket close, divided by 0.25 equals to, we get 16. So like this, you can calculate and get lot of combinations, right? Now, there is a maximum limit to this. What is the limit? That is another interesting thing to see. You can see from here that y should always be positive, right? So 6 minus 0.2x should be always greater than 0, right? It cannot be less than 0. Do you understand that part? So 6, or let us find when is it 0. So when is y 0? So we will say, well, if I write y equals to 0, when will I get 0? That means 6.02x should be equal to 0. Let's calculate that value. So we will put, or we can, so we'll put that. We'll say 6, y is 0 for us. So that means 0 equals to 6 minus 0.2x. Let's calculate x. So we'll bring this on that side. So from right side, we'll bring it left. 0.2x equals to 6, and x is equals to 6 divided by 0.2, which is 60 divided by 2, or 30. Use your calculator. 6 divided by 0.2 equals to 30. So if y is equal to 0, then x is equals to 30. That gives us two limits. That is, if we have $6 to spend, then maximum we can buy 6 pencils or 24 pence. You see that? That also gives you the upper value of the variable. So we can say here that x, which is the number of pencils, can be greater than equal to 0, but it should be less than equal to 30, right? We cannot buy more than 30 pencils for $6. Similarly, pens which are y should be greater than equal to 0, but less than equal to 24. So this is important. When we are talking about variables, we have to see what could be the upper limit and lower limit for the given variable. Now we are buying pens and pencils. They have to be numbers which are positive. And if we have a limit of $6, what maximum can we buy? So that gives us the limit which x and y can have. And every number in between is a possible number. So we can use this equation to solve it.